Hello, welcome. I'm Aaron Stein. I'm the director of InBody Yoga Academy, and this is Maria Radloff, and she's our Vedic Studies director. And we're here to answer any of your questions and talk to you a little bit about yoga teacher training program and our yoga therapy program, and really what is yoga therapy and what's the power of yoga. And I teach a lot of the meditation courses, mindfulness courses, and a lot of the yoga, asana, and alignment courses. And we have a lot of amazing teachers here who come from a lot of different kinds of backgrounds. Maria comes from an Ashtanga background, and she's also our resident Sanskrit expert. And these are all really wonderful things that we offer in our different programs that really differentiates our programs from all the other ones. And so we'll take a few questions, but I'd like Maria to introduce herself and to say a little bit about what she does and really why she enjoys working at InBody Academy. I assume you enjoy working at InBody Academy.
Of course, I love it. Yeah, this is definitely one of my passions in life. So I'm Maria Radloff, and I have been doing Ashtanga yoga and Sanskrit since 2008. My teachers, Dave Oliver and Cheryl Hall, reside in Phoenix, Arizona, and that's where I got my start in yoga. My yoga beginnings were prompted from kind of a burnout in my professional life. So I feel like yoga pretty much saved my soul, and I don't say that lightly because I was definitely spiraling downward, and luckily I had a friend that opened a yoga studio, and one of his teachers was an Ashtanga teacher there. So that was my introduction, and it was just randomness. But through yoga, I was able to kind of refuel and rebalance, just kind of having run in some different circles of entrepreneurs, of new agers, of just designers, all of these different groups. There's one thing that I see, and there's just some overall suffering, some unhappiness and discontent with life. And if I was Christian, I would just say, well, you need to find Jesus, but I'm not really Christian at this point, and I feel like you just have to find yoga, because yoga will kind of point you inward and to your own teacher and to your own natural ability to heal your life, both emotionally, mentally. I said both, but there's three things: mentally, emotionally, and physically. So I think for me, yoga has just been a way to really bring about balance and happiness. I've actually had people comment about how happy I seem to be, and it's not just a show. I mean, I feel like yoga has really brought this on because you get tools that you can sort of work with things that happen, and I feel like as a teacher of yoga, I'm inspired to share what I've learned and what's worked for me. And I feel like, it's not just black and white. I feel like everybody has different lives and different things that work. But for me, I have my experience, and I can share through what I've experienced with yoga and what has helped me heal. So anyway, through that inspiration, I want to share what I've learned with others, because I feel like my life has turned 180 degrees from what I had. So there's so much possible. So I'm on board, and I'm dedicated to keep getting the message out there.
Thank you, Maria. Yeah, and Maria is so great. She teaches a lot of our classes, and just being in her presence is awesome. I would just go to her classes to hang out with her. But yeah, and I think that's important, is that no matter what background you come from, yoga is yoga, and yoga essentially means union or yoking. And so how do we bring together these kinds of disparate experiences we've all had and start to move through them and move past suffering, as Maria said? And I come from a Mormon background, as well as practicing a lot of Buddhism. And to me, I've studied lots of religions and traditions from all over the world, and there's really no difference. And so yoga isn't a religion, it's just a way to go deeper on whatever your path is, be it, any kind of Christianity, any kind of Islam, any kind of Judaism or Buddhism. It all speaks to that same essential truth. And that truth really is, underneath the suffering, underneath these things, these afflictions or dukkhas that we have in our lives or in our minds, our true nature is really something amazing and miraculous. It's our blissful nature. And the more we become free of this suffering, free of these things that kind of hold us back from discovering who we truly are, then we can start to experience this bliss layer, this kosha in the yoga traditions of our true self. And it really is quite a bit nicer than living in suffering and struggling with, wondering who we are. Because in a sense, underneath it all, we're all connected. And I think that's where the world is moving towards on some level, and the lines are becoming very clearly drawn between the people who want to resist and stay in their sense of self, their narrow sense of self, and stay separate from everybody else, and the ones who really want to connect and get out there and co-create and change the world. And so if you're interested in playing and co-creating and changing the world and maybe helping people become free of suffering, even if you're free of suffering, congratulations. But as we become free of suffering, we help others become free of suffering. And as we help others, we become free of suffering because we are connected, and we experience that very, very deeply in yoga. And so yoga is not for everybody, absolutely not. But it is for the people who really want to go deeper and find their path and find their true purpose, and not only heal themselves, but start to heal the world, because that's where we start, is within. And that's why we're really passionate about yoga therapy, because it's much less about having amazing asana practices and doing the most elaborate poses, or even getting in the top physical shape. It's about getting in the top spiritual, mental, emotional state. And so how do we do that? Through a therapeutic way. Well, that's really what yoga therapy is. So
I concur. This is our first webinar, so we're a little giddy.
We've got a question coming in. Do you want to hear it?
yes, let's hear a question.
What is the difference between being a yoga teacher versus being a yoga therapist?
Oh, that's a good one. I'll take that. If Maria can elaborate on that, if that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say a yoga teacher, I was actually just talking to my friend Adam Ballinger, and he's a local teacher who's just really quite amazing. And he's teaching a great deal of our upper level 300-hour program, which comes up in January. And that's not only the certification for a 500-hour certificate, but the yoga therapist certificate. So there's a little plug there. But Adam was talking about that for him, there's really no difference between a true yoga teacher and a yoga therapist, because if you really get into the heart of yoga, the essence of the practice, it's deeply therapeutic, no matter what it is. And so it could be Sanskrit, it could be chanting, it could be just asana practice. But I think a lot of it has to do with your intention and kind of your dedication to it. And I would say a true yoga therapist kind of has that dedication, that bhakti, that love of it and devotion to their craft. And they know that this is their path, and their path is really to help other people become free of suffering and healed in their bodies and their mind. And so that's really the focus, is to help people get a little bit more free in their bodies and their minds and free of suffering. And that would be my own take on it.
I feel as a yoga teacher, you are teaching somebody the tools of yoga. So when I teach a yoga class, I want to give students something to take home that they can work with. So I might recommend a pranayama, I might recommend a pose, maybe some sort of suggestion. I feel like I can teach the tools when I'm a yoga teacher. When I'm a yoga therapist, I am working with an individual or a group on actual healing. So I don't actually teach them the tools, But I feel like I want to give them an experience instead. So I might lead them through a practice or a pranayama, but I really want to target some healing toward whoever I'm with. And so maybe I don't give them peripheral knowledge and information. I literally just give them the experience of the practice itself and hope that, through that there will be an experience of healing. But when I teach Ashtanga, I'm giving them all sorts of additional information, pose names and, how to do certain things and maybe some history. So I feel it's a lot more informational. There's a lot more to take home rather than it just being an experience.
Yeah. I love that. Good job. You're good at this thing. Yeah, I think that's the key, is that it really is an experience, and it's a personal experience, experiencing your own healing. But I would also add that if you're in this for yourself, if you're in this for your own healing, or if you're in this because you think it would be a good career choice, it's probably not the path for you. You have to be really devoted to it and willing to give up a lot of your ideas about who you are and kind of what things look like, and more how they feel, more of the experience. Because you know when you're kind of on your true path, when you are doing the things you're supposed to be doing to help other people. And usually that does involve helping other people, even though it'd be nice to just worry about ourselves and watch Netflix on the couch, and I'll do that sometimes, but I don't feel very good about myself on the long run. It's nice in the short run. And even if I go into a yoga class and I do it just for myself, it doesn't feel as liberating as maybe practicing for the benefit of other people. And that's kind of a deeper yoga and Buddhist concept, is practicing and walking the path for the benefit of other people. But it really is quite liberating, because when we get down to it, who really wants to think about themselves all the time and be caught up in our own internal turmoil and analysis? It gets really old after a while.
Yeah, I feel like if you choose this as your career path, you're choosing it as your life. It's not something that you can just do it at work and then you come home and you live some other life that opposes it. That would never work. So once you dive into yoga, it's sort of the question of the red pill or the blue pill, because once you dive in, you're kind of in a one-way channel going into the yoga world. There's no turning back, because you learn things, and once the darkness of ignorance is kind of lit with the flame of knowledge, you just can't go backwards. So you're going to learn things on your path that you won't be able to reverse. So once you start to choose this as your career, your life will change. Ways of coping will change. Ways of being around other people will change. If they don't change, you will be living with disharmony. So I feel like you have to be authentic at all times. So if whatever you're, so to speak, preaching, you need to be living too, because otherwise you're not speaking authentically as a teacher, and that will catch up with you, and either your life will start to burn out or your career will not be successful as a yoga teacher, because that harmony won't exist. So keep in mind, when you want to be a yoga teacher or yoga therapist, your whole life is going to start to wrap around the concepts and the philosophies. And I promise, although there will be times where it dips, it will be a great move forward. The things that will open, the journey really is amazing. I can't say it's easy, but it's very rewarding. And I think, if yoga is your path, that you will definitely enjoy the studies along with, even the teaching and the therapy. But you'll always be a student, and you'll always be questioning and learning and looking at things. It's really a great path.
Yeah, and it's not easy, but it's definitely worth it. And in some ways, it gets harder because you want to learn more and you want to help people more and serve more. But to me, that's exciting, because it feels easier, and you're able to do more, and you have the capacity and the skills and the knowledge to help people more and more. At least I feel like I do every year, and it does get easier because get better at life, I guess.
Yeah.
And sometimes it feels like I'm terrible at life, but for the most part, those times, at least I have the support, of a family, a sangha or a kula in yoga, kind of a spiritual family. And I think that's what we really try to support here. And even if, you're in Amsterdam or Australia, I have students from all over, we still have that connection. Time and space really doesn't matter on that level.
It's funny that you bring up the connection. I have a really amazing teacher who told me that you won't really embrace the oneness until you start a life of service, because once you start the service, it's no longer about me, and you start to embrace the whole, because now you're living for everybody and not just your little self. So if you ever are curious about that connection that we just talked about, try a little service, start to live your life outside of yourself and see what opens up.
Yeah, it gets easier. And that can be a little bit scary to think about living your life in service and giving things away. In Buddhism and a lot of yoga traditions, there is this concept of just giving it all away, giving up all your possessions, giving up all your material attachments. And it's not because that's hard to do once you do it, but just thinking about that is hard to do. It's because that's what really causes our suffering. It's our attachment to things. It doesn't mean we can't have nice things. We can have nice things.
Aparigraha.
What is
That's the Sanskrit term.
For nice things?
It's non-hoarding.
Non-hoarding. Yes. You'll learn these things when you take classes from Maria. I did not know that. We kind of live in a hoarding country, in a hoarding world where people want to grasp of things and build walls and say, this is mine and not yours, and I've got mine, so go back to where you came from.
Maybe Trump will come to our yoga class.
Trump would be a wonderful yogi. He's so close. He has a giant third chakra, this giant sense of self. And it's overexpanded, so that's the problem. But if he could just move to that next level and get into that heart chakra level, he'd be a pretty great president.
Yay! Let's pray.
We can hope.
We've got another question coming in.
Okay, another question.
This one says, I'm in a full-time career. Can I still take a training without taking time off from work?
Ooh, good question. Mystery student. So, yes, we have our classes available online as well. And so you can attend in person or online from wherever you are in the world. And the great thing about having these classes recorded is that you can go back for the next 6 months and review them. And so we try to make it accessible to everybody. We believe yoga really is for everybody. And we make the learning styles accessible because everybody has different styles of learning: verbal, auditory, kinesthetic, and things like that. And so we want to meet you, the student, wherever you're at, metaphorically or literally in the world.
And with the online program, there's still access to the teachers. So
Right.
You're not just given a set of videos to watch. We will interact with you. We will answer your questions. We want to support you in your journey and make sure that you're successful. So you won't ever feel like you're doing it alone. You'll have all of us to be there with you.
Absolutely. And so our next online course, it starts this Friday, and it goes for a month. And so it's essentially Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 5 to 9, Saturday and Sunday, 9 to 5. And again, if you miss any of those, just make them up. But it's fun to keep up. It's fun to try to come in person if you can and just make that connection. It's a powerful connection. But having that 200-hour prerequisite will get you certified through InBody Academy as the yoga teacher trainer or a yoga instructor. And then you can move on to be a yoga therapist in training. And so that's our upper level. And right now there's only 10 institutions in the world that are certified, and we're about to be number 11. And I'm sorry, in the US, 20 in the world. So that's still pretty good. And
It's amazing.
yeah, it's hard. It's hard. But that's the level that we kind of want to play on, is that highly accredited elite level of people who really want to go to that next level.
And just because we're just getting accredited now doesn't mean we're not experienced. This is our 10th year of, these
Yes.
trainings, and the professional yoga therapy program has, I don't know how long.
It's been around about 4 years.
Yeah, we've
3 to
been
4
doing
years.
this for some time, so we're not amateurs.
Trust us, we're professionals.
That was so good. We're so salesy.
Yeah, we are good. We're good. Well, great. If there's any more questions, you can type them in now, or you can just contact us, and either one of us would love to talk to you. And so just give us a call or go to InBodyAcademy.com or InBody Yoga Academy. InBodyAcademy.com works. And just click on the Get Started link, and then you can actually apply for the 100-hour teacher training course. You can do that in person, online, just register there. And you can also contact us personally if you want to apply for the yoga therapist training that starts in January. And that's really exciting. We literally have what I would consider the best teachers in the world here. And we bring in a lot of the best teachers in the world. So you get to connect with them, and you get to really make a connection with your peers that last a lifetime. I can really say that's true. Cool.
And the trainings are transformational. Like, even if you're doing this for yourself, the person that you come in as will definitely be different than the person you come out as.
I know.
You can probably speak more to that. I have.
Oh, yeah. Well, yes, I don't remember who was that guy. Sometimes I think about that. Yeah. And I'm sure I'll say that a year from now. But yeah, I have actually done a number of different teacher trainings. Some from Adam Ballinger, who I spoke of, one of my primary Anusara teachers, and then I've done Dana's yoga therapy and 1,000-hour training, and so that's why I'm so passionate about it, and so passionate about being involved and being the director of the program, because I really think this is the best I've come across. It's really transformational, and that's the focus, is helping other people, helping you start to transform and discover your true path. Well, thank you. If you would like to just take a little moment, and we'll do a quick little meditation. Do you have anything for us, meditation-wise?
Do you want to talk about careers?
Careers?
With
Yeah,
our professional
absolutely.
yoga therapy program, and how healthcare professionals sort of
Yeah,
piggyback with
that's
it?
really cool. And so yoga therapists, they aren't certified to diagnose or treat like psychological disorders or even extreme physical therapy type things. But what we do, and what I often do, is work with other healthcare practitioners, especially Western healthcare practitioners. And so we're finding more and more that psychologists and general physicians are finding the value and benefit of meditation and yoga. And so, of course, once they start prescribing that to their patients, they want to find the best, which is the yoga therapist. And so this is going to really start booming more and more as Western traditions start to embrace Eastern traditions like yoga and meditation as a form of healing, a form of therapy. And so that's really exciting to kind of merge those two fields of the East and the West. And I think that's what the yoga therapist really does more than anything, is they create that union between the East and the West, and they create, kind of this healing between the head and the heart. All right. Well, if there's no other questions, again, you can just email us directly or set up a time to talk to us. And our training starts this Friday, so space is limited. Go ahead and register now. But hey, we are going to end with a little meditation. Again, did you have anything for us? Or
Nope, I'm all
right.
set.
And so I will start with a quick little guided meditation. So go ahead and get grounded. As you inhale, stretch up through the top of your head. And as you exhale, just release any tension, any heaviness, as if it's being pulled away by gravity. And as you inhale, feel more at ease with each breath. Feel this awareness start to expand as you inhale from the base of the spine all the way to the top of the head. And now I'd like to ask you to identify with your true self, your true path, And in your mind, imagine you're putting yourself on your truth path. Nothing can hold you back. And imagine what that would look like 10 years from now. And more important, what would that feel like? And so to identify that just within your mind, say, I'm my true path, my true purpose. True path, my true purpose. And let this energy come in. It's going to start to come in. And what would that feel like if 10 years from now you knew you would follow your true path, your true purpose? How would this true path, true purpose feel in your body? How would your relationships be different? If you had been following your true path for 10 years, how would you be different? How would you breathe? How would you communicate and connect? Above all, how would you feel? And what does it feel like you'd be doing? And then what would it take? What would it take to get there? And what would you have to overcome? And wouldn't it be worth it? Beautiful. And as you inhale, just inhale this energy of your true purpose, your true nature. In your mind, say, I am my true nature. Completely embraced. And breathe this in. Bring your hands to your heart center. And we do this for the benefit of all beings. And as we say namaste, this is connecting true nature with each other. Namaste.
Namaste.
Oh, hello. Well, thanks for sticking around. We forgot to say something. And so we want to tell you a little bit about what you got in the program because we had a question about that. And so what you get in the program is you get 100 hours, and we break it up into 200-hour trainings. And so this general ed is the first 100-hour training. And it's this amazing catalog and workbook. How many pages is that, Maria?
It was originally 108 because that was so auspicious.
That is auspicious, most auspicious.
But now we're down maybe to like 98 or so.
But we do have more coming in the next couple of days. So we'll get it up to 108 pages for you. And as a bonus, we will also include this awesome book, The Language of Yoga. And I think it's one of your favorite books.
It's by one of my Sanskrit teachers, Nikolai Bachman.
Yes.
He's amazing. Like, this is the yoga Bible right here.
Absolutely. And so we will send that to you as an ebook, and you'll also have the audio, or you can get the hard book.
Get the hard book. It has CDs in it. Not that you have a computer that plays a CD anymore, but it has CDs.
I listen to my CDs. I just listened to my CD in the car today.
Okay, good.
Some people might want the hardcover and the CD. We'll give that to you. Cool. And you'll get to get one-on-one with, what we consider some of the best teachers in the world, and really the most big-hearted teachers. That's what I would say. And I will also give you my still meditation CD, and so that's about 15 hours of meditation audios, and that's something we get into a lot in the second part, as well as the yoga therapy program, is meditating and starting to train the mind and start to discover these things that hold us back, and these things tend to be called our thoughts. So how can we train our mind? That's cool. So I'll give you that as well. And also, we'll open up the early bird special, and so that's usually $1,200, but $990 if you want to register within the next 24 hours. But again, space is limited, so go ahead and register soon. Yeah.
So this is for the 100-hour
general
education program. You get more stuff with the professional yoga therapy program.
So much stuff.
So much stuff.
Yes.
And you get to meet Dana and work with Dana in both the 100-hour program, the immersion.
100-hour program. Yeah, we hardly even talk about our founder, Dana, who is really, truly amazing, and she teaches a lot of the general ed and the 300-hour program. And she's been doing this for 30 years. She's worked with some of the best in the business, and they were her teachers. And so she founded this program and has really developed it over the last 15 years. She started doing teacher trainings almost 20 years ago. She's very cool.
She's the reason your life will transform from the program.
She's a reason.
Material's pretty good, too.
One of many reasons, yes. Yeah. All right.
Anyway, thanks for hanging around for part 2.
Yes. Namaste.